How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to Chuusotsu. Where last time we ended on a terrible note of Kokoro turning out to be the freaking devil incarnate. Alright, so like the summary of it is Kokoro appears to be like a child, but she's actually a legal prostitute who's 27, who has also been singled out as the generals, who's apparently the leader of this super nation, potential concubine or mistress or wife or whatever. I can't remember if it was an actual title of something or not. But because of that, she gets a lot of power, and she's decided to take kind of her like inner frustration at her life and how her role in society was so harshly deviated from what she wanted to do. She's decided that Chuusotsu are the worst because she sacrificed so much in order to uphold what she saw was the right thing to do, which is to follow the law, to live the role you're supposed to live, contribute to society in the best way you can. She sees that Chuusotsu as rebels who just leech off the system, and she has anger, which I can kind of understand. It's kind of a similar anger, I think, that drives, in my opinion, not always, but I think sometimes some of the best police officers are driven by this attitude. It's like, sure, they want to protect people, but there's also this like anger that comes with this idea that like people have the audacity to like break the rules and live lifestyles that like we try so hard to repress and to try and like stay away from in order to keep society functioning. And so when people have that drive to go catch the bad guys, part of it might be a kind of a jealousy, a rage, that how dare they live however they please. You know, when I've given up so much in order to like protect people, and like that drives them to catch them, to want to bring them to justice. And so Kokoro, I feel like, is having a very similar feeling to that. So Aure has retreated into her recollection, so we're probably going to see a little bit more about her past, and then we're going to hopefully see her get freaking rescued. It's getting freaking crazy now, isn't it? So let's jump in and see what happens. Marasagawa Aure's recollections. The seasons shift from the winter to spring. That scratching pencil is super loud. She gazed at her manuscript with a mix of sadness and joy. A feeling of achievement washed over her. She had just finished her 12th chapter of her self-made manga. She was in bed, lying on her stomach, without even looking at the desk. Her bed and the tatami mats beneath it were stained here and there with ink. And although she had no plans to show it to anyone, it was done. Finished. Inaction followed. The season shift from winter to spring. The world was rife with talks of compatibility exams. Special programs related to it were being broadcast on TV. This wasn't unusual. The high point of the People's World Federation, the P3 law. The jobs determined by the compatibility examination would become the lifelong duty of every individual. Even those finishing their compulsory education would eventually have a job decided for them once they'd passed through several higher education institutes. It was even possible that they'd be sent out into the real world without going through any more schools. It's like, kind of the reality about this too is like kind of this realization of like how you live now, will you regret it in the future? Because obviously you won't regret it now. Like if you sit around and like play video games all day or read books all day or listen to music all day or just shirk responsibility, avoid working and doing all that stuff, like you really need to look at that and wonder, like, will you regret that for your future? Everyone's path is different, and so as we've talked about before, like just judging somebody because they have a different lifestyle is a very dangerous, reckless, and frankly destructive thing to do. But at the same time, we should have that self-reflection and be like, am I doing things now that I'll be able to look back on and be proud of? Because Aure certainly regrets this part of her life. So it kind of makes you wonder. And I mean, what are the parts of your life you regret? Think back, and have you changed from that person or not? Something to think about. Absolutely something to think about. Marasagawa Aure had already realized she was merely running from reality. Naturally, she couldn't keep it up forever. She was more than aware of that too. According to Marushigata Aure, however, running from reality was...
モラトリアム期間だから
leeway. Leeway wasn't something you set for yourself. Much like how freedom wasn't something you determined for yourself. She knew this all too well. She was fooling herself. Telling herself lies in order to justify her own willful ignorance. It was a bit like cheating. After all, going back to school would only lead to more suffering. And there was no method for raising her compatibility to be a government worker. Besides, drawing manga was way better than injecting some passion into her life. She had many reasons. Reasons that, much like her manga, she'd never revealed to anyone. Her lack of spontaneity, as well as her weak-willed nature, people wouldn't wait for her. Even if she gave herself a moratorium, there was no guarantee that everyone else would do the same. She knew this. She absolutely did. However, March... It was already too late for her to make it to the compatibility examination, as would be expected. This ushered in her destruction. Marushigata Aure's activity time was flipped from day to night. As such, she would normally go to bed in the early evening. But on this day, she just happened to be awake. She was so into the manga she'd been drawing that she ended up pulling an all-dayer, dang. While she was still awake, she heard a voice from across the sliding door. Come on, Elias. Think it over again. Just talk about this, nice and slow. I'm sorry, Mom. I've already made up my mind.
うるさいな。声が気になって寝られないよ。
Well, I mean, your grades are all good, and your life plans are on track, right? If you stay on this path, you'll definitely become happy. Yeah, that's all thanks to my previous efforts that I got accepted so easily into this part-time job. I'll be cleaning sewers. They say work's simple enough that anyone can do it. Don't make that face. Sewer cleaning's perfectly respectable work. It is. To all the sewer workers out there, thank you for what you do. I don't want to do that job, but we need it, and so thank you. I hope you get paid enough. I know, I really do. I know, I really do, but that's not the point I'm trying to make here. You'll work hard, so you'll want me to find my own happiness? Exactly! I mean, you have your own life to live. But your body is already at its limit. I know about it. The doctor said your episodes will get worse unless you take a break. You're doing this for Aure as well, right? You borrowed a lot of money. Oh, fetch. They went into debt too? Dang it. Yeah, that's bad. Which is why my mind is made. I'll do my best for both of you and Aure. I'm a guy. A healthy to boot. I want to look after my mother and sister. Elias, listen to me. I know she hasn't really been sick for a long time now. Oh, fetch, man. Just all get slapped in her face, huh? But I can understand how she feels. Even I've occasionally toyed with the idea of just giving up. But when I think of it like this, I feel like I can overcome pretty much anything life throws at me. All my hard work was for this one decision. And that time has come, Mom. Elias, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The seal I have now will get nullified if I continue skipping classes. When that happens, I'll be just like you. Oh man, he became a Chuusotsu to support his family? Fetch. I'll protect my family, mark my words. Even Chuusotsu can look after the ones they love. That'd break me too. She jumped out of bed. She paced around her room. She looked for the rooftop, but standing in her way was a single sliding door. She put out her hand on the door. Her hand was shaking. It froze in place. She had to open it, but she couldn't. She had to open it and go outside, but she couldn't. She stood perfectly still. with her hand on the door. She began to cry.
開けられない。様が鉄みたいに重いよ。
Even as night came, she continued standing there stock still. This 1-kilogram door that she had been opening and closing so easily up until now had turned into a lump of iron that was blocking her progress. Her room was dark. The light from her laptop was the only thing illuminating Marishigata Are's back. She suddenly turned around. She felt like someone had called her name.
スケッチブック。
What? A year and a half ago. It was the one she'd been using right before she got sick. It was laid across her desk, peeking out at her. She grabbed it without thinking. A decently thick layer of dust had accumulated on it. This is what saved her from hell back then, and what led her to run away. She opened it out of sheer nostalgia. A vampire girl. The drawing was a mess. Its design was simplistic and lacked creativity. She tried adding cat ears to it. That improved it a little, but not by much. Luckily, it was a pencil sketch, meaning she could still fix the design. She grabbed the eraser and pen. Then she came back to her senses. What in the world was she doing? She didn't know. She couldn't understand. She couldn't figure it out. What couldn't she figure out? Herself. She did feel guilty. She felt plenty of guilt, in fact. But she didn't know how to deal with it. All she could do was relieve her stress using her usual means. This is interesting, because, like, I'm a really big proponent of knowing when to vent. Like, bottling up is a terrible, terrible thing. I kind of have a story about this. So there was someone who I was really interested in high school. I became friends with her, and we were friends for a while before anything even really happened. She had got interested in other people, was dating other people. I always wished we could date, but, I was also I'm a very much realistic and more timid person when it comes to romance. Like, I don't know. I got bolder as I got older, but especially back then I wasn't bold at all. But I remember she was dating this one guy, and she was really getting along with him. But we were still friends. We worked on a project together. We actually wrote a story together, and we were still working on that. But she was dating this guy, and I was happy. Except then things weren't happy. People, there's ups and downs, all relationships, and they got to this disagreement. I won't go into the details, but they kind of came to this head where she kind of feel like she would either have to back off and kind of regress, like she'd made decisions that she wanted to keep, like for herself, like goals and just ways she wanted to go through life, her moral, her philosophy kind of thing. He kind of wanted things to be different. She had to choose either to relent, which the decision she made, the boundaries she'd set up, the things that she wanted to, like the way she wanted her life to be, and kind of like release some of that in order to like help him be more comfortable and everything, or she'd have to give up the relationship. And she chose to dump the relationship, but it ripped her apart. The problem was that also, not only did she toss aside this relationship that meant so much to her and this person that meant so much to her, but he turned against her and became fairly, like, I don't know, it's unfortunate that sometimes people, when they get frustrated from these types of things, they overcorrect and they can be cruel. And that's kind of what happened. So she kind of lost it all. And then her friends, like her closest friends who had been friends with her since like elementary school, middle school, they thought that she should have just, kind of gone along with what he had wanted, and that she was giving up something really good. So they kind of just stopped talking to her because they felt like she'd betrayed like their friend, because that's who they were friends with him, and they decided to stick with him, not her. So she suddenly found herself not only having to like ditch a relationship that she was very much committed to, but found that even her friends were abandoning her. And the only ones that was still around was me. And of course, I was happy to be there, but at the same time, you never want to watch someone you care about suffer. even if it means they're breaking up. Like, if anything, that's it's horrible to have to watch that. And so the like farthest thing from my mind was saying, "Oh, like this is my chance," you know, you know, that's not what you think in these types of moments. I was desperately worried for her, and I remember we would hang out, and like she kind of started getting over what happened, but she kind of got into a roadblock like this. She normally was a writer. She hadn't been writing. She normally liked to go on bike rides. She hadn't gone bike riding. She hadn't really been attacking her studies, and her grades are starting to slip. And I was concerned because she was just going on this downward spiral where she just felt lost and alone. And eventually, I remember we were having lunch, and she talked to me, and she said that the dentist had said that she was grinding her teeth at night, and that if she kept it up, it was going to start causing problems, and that she needed to stop. But she said, like, how am I supposed to stop? I'm doing this in my sleep. And immediately I thought to myself, I was like, you're doing that because you're stressed. You're so stressed because you're bottling it all up inside, and you can't figure out how to release it. Thankfully, I had a stroke of insight. I sat her down, and in an oddly aggressive move, something that was very bizarre, especially for me back then, I sat her down, I looked her in the eye, I think I even grabbed her shoulders or something, and I was just like, you gotta stop. You're beating yourself up, you're destroying yourself, and it's driving me crazy. And so I made her a promise. I was like, you're gonna go home, and you're gonna do the thing that you find the most stress relieving. You're gonna write. You're gonna sit in front of your computer, and you're gonna force yourself to write. I don't care if it sounds like freaking Dr. Seuss. I don't care if it's just like gobbledygook. You sit and you write a page. Just you write something. It can be anything. But get that down and force yourself to try and write a scene for your book, because you're just writing a story. It's like, force yourself to do it. Make it happen. And it was incredible, because I thought she was going to ditch me. Like, I thought, like, this is the end. Why on earth would I be so forceful? The last thing she needs is someone in her face telling her to do something. But the weekend passed, I didn't hear a word from her. But then she came back on Monday, big grin on her face. Told me how she'd written 20 pages of stuff that weekend, and how she'd felt so good. And she stopped grinding her teeth, and it was like she'd been reborn. And she was able to figure things out, and she moved past what had happened. And for me, that told me that it kind of gave me this insight and this belief, this like, things like video games and stuff, visual novels and stuff. Like, people can sometimes, you can overindulge, you can go too far, and it can be a problem. But you need to understand when you reach points in your life where the stress is building up too high. You need to know when you need to hit that pressure valve and give yourself some space and unplug. And especially if you can make something, if you can create something, it can be some of the best stress relievers out there. And so if you ever find yourself in a position where you find yourself grinding your teeth at night, or whatever other manifestations of stress you find yourself in, take the time and force yourself to do something that genuinely relaxes you. It's so important for your health. Unfortunately, Aure, her way of dealing with stress is so hard to do, and it's so, I don't know. She lets it consume her. That's her problem. It's balance you gotta find, but like, you need to make sure you also are letting yourself deal with stress properly. It's a huge thing for me, and it's something I always am encouraging people to do. So sorry for the rant, but it's important stuff. Actually, she could relieve her stuff using the same other means. In the darkness of solitude, her heart was on the verge of breaking. Self-destruction. Like a kind of madness. She had something she had to do. She certainly did. The compatibility examination. Earning the top position of a government worker. She was supposed to improve her odds of getting there even by a minuscule amount. By studying 20 hours a day. By ignoring the fact that she had no one to talk to. By restricting her access to manga. By cutting herself off from fun. She would progress.
Yada!
And see, that's the thing. Like, it's almost like why she fails. If she sets her sights on such a lofty goal, especially to start with, you'll build up to something grand. You don't start there. And you shouldn't sacrifice the things that help you feel better and help you deal with stress. You shouldn't sacrifice your manga. She shouldn't sacrifice the art that she draws. But she needs to control it. Because she hits these two extremes where she feels like she can't do anything but work. And if she plays, she's betraying herself. Or she just plays. And those are both bad. Like, anything in extreme, anything in excess can be bad. Like, well, we should strive for a middle ground of some kind. Whatever is appropriate for us, we should strive for that. No. And and even after she became a Chuusotsu, responsibility, duty, atonement, things she had to do. Before she knew it, her sketchbook was filled up with random drawings. Actually, they were so juvenile, I couldn't even call them drawings. Suddenly, she felt like she could hear her best friend's voice from the first time in ages. Oh boy.
今まで引きこもって何もしてなかったのに？人生って何なんだろう？なに？大げさなこと言い出して。人生ってどうしてこんなに消費的なんだろう？さあ、寿命だって消費されていくわけだしね。なんかさ、最初から無理があった気がするんだ。そうね、無理だったんじゃない？私なんて所詮こんなもんなんだよ。諦めるなら早いうちがいいと思うよ。
I don't like where this is going.
どうしたの？人生なんて諦めちゃえば楽になるよ。ずっと引きこもって自分から逃げ続ければ辛い思いなんてしないで済む。それって勝ち逃げだと思わない？違うよ。それは絶対に違う。だって逃げてもたとえ責任や罪から逃れたとしてもどこまで行っても自分がついてくる。私を一番軽蔑してるのは私が一番私のこと嫌いだから。私は一生私でいなくちゃいけないから。
It's too bad she really doesn't see that she is a wonderful person. She's got greatness in her.
今更気づいた。こんなこと。もうこんな自分は嫌だな。屋上になんて上がりたくないし、お母さんとお兄ちゃんとも心からの笑顔で話したい。それができない。今の自分が許せない。だから変えていかなきゃ。今はどうしたらいいかわからないけど、何としてでも。
That's hitting your bottom. Hitting that point where you're just like, I gotta do something. Because if I don't do anything else, my whole life is gonna be a circle of pain and torment. And I'm sitting in a well at the bottom, and you gotta climb. And it's like, you got yourself down there because the shovel's right next to you, and you're like, well, why am I so terrible at this? But then you're like, you just have to pick yourself up and start. Because it's funny because like you don't start at the bottom. You dug yourself down there. You fell down there. You tripped or something. But the thing is that the same steps that got you there, you retrace those steps and you can get yourself right out again.
このどうしようもない私をせめて私が恥ずかしくないくらいに。
Oh, good luck with that. I think I'm still ashamed of myself. I've made so much progress in my life from where I was. From when I hated myself because of the circumstances I thought I couldn't control. I had to go through so many years, pain, and trial and error, and success and failure over and over again. And every time I thought I was finally getting on top, something would happen and just shove me right back down again. And I'm still climbing. I'm still climbing up that well, you know? But I'm so much higher than I was a few years ago. So much higher than I was 10 years ago. And I've gotten to the point now where I'm on the right track. Climbing that ladder, and I'm not going to stop. I'll slide, I'm sure, but I'm going to keep moving. Aure's trying to figure out where that is, too.
そうだ。私は
Oh.
変わるんだ。
Like I said, I love the simple music in here right now. It's so cute. And with that, Marisugata Aure put her hand on the door. And the first thing she decided was to cut her bangs. To be able to see more of the world, even just by a little bit. Oh, that's cool. So that others could see her for who she was. So that she could smile even in the face of hardship and talk to someone who wasn't imaginary. Instead of climbing the staircase of escapism, she would walk her own path. And so, of her own free will, Aure opened the door. And here we are.
そうだ。決めたんだ。ここに来る前、自分自身を変えるって。自分に恥ずかしくない自分になろうって。正直、どうすればその目標に近づけるかなんてわからなかったから、再検査に縛られたり、タイムリープを繰り返して昔の自分に戻ったり。やっぱり私はどこまで行っても人間デブリだったけど、やっとわかった。こんな窮地に立たされて。
Aure looked at her hand, so reaching out toward the lighter, and withdrew it.
何をしているですよ。白化はすぐそこだというのに。あなたの価値観を私に押し付けないで。押し付け。そろそろ自分を理解したらどうですよ。それはこっちのセリフです。だってあなた、本当の自分から逃げてるだけでしょ。何を。体が子供になっても精神年齢は大人のままなんでしょ。スタンガンもムチも手錠もヘッチな道具も私物なんでしょ。それにクローゼットの中身、あの難しい本だってあなたの持ち物なんでしょ。人に漫画を燃やせって言いながらあなたは全然捨てられてないじゃないですか。未練タラタラじゃないですか。
Go, Aure, go! Oh, this is freaking gold!
だけど心はちゃんとジョブを真面目にやって。それが矛盾だって気づいてくださいよ。そのガラス玉の前、何を首から下げてましたか。2の7って書いたタグ、あれって自分が大人だって事実をなくしたくない、その抵抗だったんでしょ。
Yeah, that's right.
なぜそれを。わかるんですよ。私にはここに来るまでいっぱい寄り道してきましたから。
Took a lot of detours on the way here. What a good summary of that. Oh man, I wish Okabe in Steins Gate needs to use that line.
あなたは私よりずっと年上かもしれないけど、この1週間に関しては私の方が先輩ですから。
Yeah.
偉そうに。そうですよ、偉そうです。何せ開き直ってますから。本当、何を今まで勝手に気負ってたのか。
Oh. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but I'm really proud of her right now. She sighed, then turned around and looked at the web camera.
よく聞いてください。画面の向こうの人民さんたち。
Go, girl, go!
私、今からとんでもないこと言っちゃいます。超人シール次第で人の価値が決まるこの世の中で、無責任な、無法者の無遠慮な言葉ですけど、覚悟だけはしっかりできてますから。
And then, she inhaled a deep breath.
私は漫画家になりたいです。
Aww. And this right here.
適正検査なんかベンチして。
In a world where authorized power certificates had a firm grip on people's freedom.
P3 法なんか鼻で笑って。
Fetch. Yeah, I really like this, but it's gonna get her in trouble. That's okay. It was the beginning of a dreamlike tale.
絶対に叶えてみせます。私の漫画家の夢を。
About a powerless girl who made the extraordinary ordinary. Yeah, here, this isn't gonna be good. Face remained expressionless. It was a skill she had mastered to fulfill her duty as a child prostitute. A skill too miserable to even be labeled as such. Lurking behind that expressionless mask was the face of a demon.
頭でもおかしくなったですよ。夢などという概念は、とうの昔に絶滅した骨董品ですよ。人民が自由に夢を持ち、適正検査を無視して、ジョブを選ぶ。そんな危険思想、この世界では怪物に等しい。だったら、怪物にだってなんだって、なってやりますよ。常識外れで理解しがたい、世間からのアウトサイダー。中卒ってそういうものでしょ。減らず口を。
She lit the lighter.
燃やしたらいいじゃないですか。あなたがどれだけ否定しても、私は自分の意志で生きていくから。
Wow.
さあどうぞ燃やしてください。
Look at that. She took the strength from Kokoro. Kokoro was in the power. She was in control. But then when Aure asserted herself, realized and was honest about what she wanted, the power became hers again. I don't know if she'll get out of this situation, but even if she were killed right here and now, she dies with the power in her hands.
だけどね、無駄ってわかりますよ、心ちゃん。燃やされた分だけ、私は新しい漫画を描きますから。
And she just said her name. She said her name on the stream, so the girls will be able to find her now.
言われずともお望み通り。
So burn it. From Kokoro's hands, the lighter began to fall with the oil-soaked manga lying beneath it. Oh, fetch. Oh! Kokoro for the frickin' ninja amazingness. Why did I say Nazi? That was not what I was gonna say. Say, jeez, why did I say? That was not what I meant. Go, yeah! She looks so cool. I want to see, look at that. She's just like freaking ninja'd.
Arueだ。
Yeah.
探したんだよ。ごめんね。ちょっと遅くなっちゃったね。
They hug, smiling. Behind them.
なんですよ。お前は。
There's some emotion. Her voice sounded rough. Kokoro was overcome with a surge of homicidal rage. Oh, fetch. Her response, Kokoro.
お邪魔します。
Oh, just apologize. Like, I'm sorry about breaking your window. Bowed.
窓割っちゃったけど、ちゃんと弁償するから。大人をバカにして、それを返せですよ、土底辺。
She charged forward, straight at Kokoro. Kokoro braced herself.
小色さん、ダメ、心ちゃん20万パワーもあるの。大丈夫。ブーストアップ80。
Yeah. She plowed forward and stopped, right where she was supposed to slam into Kokoro. But Kokoro had disappeared. She had instantly moved right behind Kokoro. Fetch, she's amazing! Oh. Gotcha. Kokoro grabbed hold of her. She locked her into chokehold. Kokoro tried to wriggle free, but
なんですよ、この力。暴れないで。あんまり加減ができないから。なんですよ。
she's freaking awesome. She's a Chuusotsu.
さっきも聞いたね。アルエは私の友達だよ。小色さん。うん。かけがえない友達だ。
I'm not crying, you're crying.
ですよ。だから正直言って心に対して怒っ。
She tightened her grip. It was only to prevent her from falling, but it was strong enough to prevent any kind of resistance. And then
でもそれ以上に。ごめんね、心。何？心は私たちが楽しくしているすぐそばで ずっと辛い思いをしてたんだよね。あんな放送を流して心が本当に言いたいことに何人が気づいてくれるんだろうね。心の知ってほしいことは中卒の愚かさなんかじゃなくて、誰か助けてっていうことでしょ。黙ってもっと早く気づければよかったね。
The way she lives, their apartment trashed. She has no passion for actual life.
何度もチャンスがあったはずなのに、何周も繰り返しておきながら、私バカだから気づいてあげられなかった。
There was the sound of something hard crunching. Kokoro was clenching her teeth.
責任の楽観主義者が心に同情するな。心を理解しようとするな。
She cried out. Same way Matsushigata Aure would scream at the top of her lungs on the rooftop.
私だってわかりますよ、心ちゃんの無念。そう、今ならわかる。本当の自分で生きていけないことがどれほど苦しいことなのか。ましてや心ちゃんの場合はそんなひどいジョブに縛られて、そんなの心が壊れてもおかしくないです。心は悪くない。お父さんとお母さんとももう一生会わないって決めて、だとしたら何のために体を。心は間違ってない。心は自分にできることを。だから私はこう思うよ。間違っているのはこの世界の方だ。
いや。
ごめん、心。
She went unconscious.
小井戸さん。アルエ、無事でよかった。怪我ないよね。はい、はい。手錠で縛られたり、ちょっとエッチなことされそうになったけど、私、案外丈夫だったみたいで。そうだ、ガラス玉。
She looked over at the unconscious Kokoro. The glass bead had shattered into pieces. They glittered like tiny stars. For some reason or another, it seemed to have regained its former clarity. Will we ever know what that was all about? I kind of want to know.
それより、どうやってここまで特殊部隊みたいに窓から飛び込んできましたけど。あれを使って屋上から勢いつけてダイブしたんだ。
She pointed over the veranda. There was a rope hanging down from above.
それはまたスタントマンが必要な荒技を。あのロープすごく丈夫だから共感ありがとう。
Deep in her heart, Kokoro thanked her trainer.
本当に助けに来てくれてありがとうございます。
No.
でも言いにくいんだけど、実はここに来るまでにね、ソウルポイントを使い切っちゃったんだ。そうでもしないとアルエが捕まってる場所が特定できなかったから。
Yeah.
もしかしてそれはララちゃんが。アララがいなかったらここまで来れなかった。それに心のことも、その代わり課題に応えることはもう。いえ、まだ諦めるには早いです。でももうポイントが。小井戸さんはこんな終わり方は嫌だって思いませんか？
Yeah, take it. What is it? Seize the day. Can't I think of it all the time. Carpe diem. Carpe diem. That's it. Carpe diem.
それは思うけど、絶対に嫌だって心から思いますよね。心から思う。だったらまだ手は残されてます。
Indeed. They sealed it away, but
タイムリープ。
one more.
正真正銘、正しい手段として最後のタイムリープをするんです。 でも
Just then.
はーい、どうもお疲れ。ララちゃん、ありがとうございました。おかげで。ってあれ？もしかしてもう気づいたのかしら。ララちゃんじゃないんですね。ええ、私はキララ。以後お見知りおきよ。って言ってもすぐお別れなんだけれど。アルエの居場所を見つけるのにね、キララの力が必要だったんだ。どういうことですか？まあ簡単に言えば高齢術みたいなものかしらね。あの子の場合は未熟だから、一度下ろすと自分の魂を体に戻せなくなっちゃうわけだけれど、それがイタコさんの家系に生まれたものの宿命だからね。宿命？
A word that Arara frequently used. Wasn't just a delusion. Regret.
あららを返して。無駄よ。もうあの子の魂は世界統括者に吸い上げられて薄まってしまったわ。
I don't believe it.
世界統括者だからあれほど普通に生きたいのなら世界統括者を倒せと言ったのだけれど、まあ見事に遊んでばかりだったわね。よっぽどあなたたちといるのが楽しかったのかしら。何かしら。
What? Arara grabbed hold of Kirara's shoulders.
私は諦めませんよ。ララちゃんとは課題をクリアしたら一緒に冒険に行くって約束してるんですから。あのね、諦めないって言ってもあなたには話してないです。ララちゃん、お願いです。私の漫画最終回まで読んでください。
Come on, get her.
新しい1週間で今度こそしっかり続き書きますから。だから帰ってきてください。今度は友達として世界統括者でも何でも一緒にやっつけますから。
All of a sudden, Kirara's body was sapped of strength. And just as quickly,
現地は取り付けたです。
yeah! She displayed an indomitable grin.
ラナちゃん、変な河原で小石積まされる作業単調だったわ。死に
She
リーチ
doesn't
か
see
け
the
た。
diversity of the river Styx, man! The three girls laughed in unison. And so, after finishing their long week, they returned safe and sound. This time for certain. It would be the last time.
それじゃあ行きますね。今ならシンクロ率 400%。
400% fetch!
ソウルディスペンサー、最後の願いを叶えて、私たちにもう一度だけチャンスを。
Yeah, super synchronization. What is with this technology, man? The world became enveloped in white.
それじゃあ小色さん、レラちゃん、1週間前に会いましょう。
The place inside the train station. Time 7:55 a.m. The rush hour train slid past the platforms. Men and women in suits burst out as water did when someone removed their finger from the mouth of a faucet. There it was, a surge of people. A bustling whirlpool of civilization. A long young girl stepped over a platform, being pulled and pushed by the wave. The sky was crisp and blue. Her face was fresh and clear. She went down the stairs and a gate. Right, she left the station she received a call, almost as if they'd been waiting for her. She picked up on it the first ring. Hi, it's Mom.
電話ありがとう。お母さん、一人でもちゃんと駅に着いたから安心して。それからお隣さんへの挨拶も事前に持ったから。
Huh? Really?
それからマンションまでの道も大丈夫。歩きでもいいんだけどバスの方が早いからそっち使おうと思ってるんだ。
You sound almost like an adult all of a sudden.
そうかな。あのね、お母さん、聞いてほしいことがあるんだ。
what is it?
いきなりでごめんね。再検査のことなんだけど。
Right.
私、やっぱり受けないことにした。再検査を受けないっていうことは、つまり、小さい頃からの人生設計を完全に捨てるっていうことだけど、私、自分の気持ちに見て見ぬふりするの。
Is this what you really want, Aure?
私ね、叶えたい夢があるの。私、漫画家になりたい。本当は小さい頃からずっと憧れててね。
The crowd's so loud, I know you can't hear her very well. I'm trying to turn it down in the editing.
がっかりさせちゃったかもしれないけど、変えられないから。私の人生は私の意思で決めたいの。
There's no way I would be disappointed. I've always I've been waiting for you to say that.
そうなの？
Of course! I mean, you're so good at drawing manga, and whenever you worked on it, you're positively shining.
でも、シールとか加減とかは。
As long as we're getting along every day, we'll be fine.
了解。いやいや、それはダメ。バイト見つけて少しずつでもお家にお金送るから、そうでもしなきゃ。
Okay, got it. I'll let you be the one to decide that. Anyway, give it your best, Aure.
お兄ちゃんには私から話すから。
Okay, you do that. Yay! Yes! In front of the apartment, the Tabula Rasa. She ran up to the entrance, struggling to catch her breath. Just then, she bumped into someone. Kokoro! She recomposed herself and turned to face her. Oh. Hi! Well, this is awkward.
ぶつかっといて何をほうけているですよ。ごめんなさい。そっか、覚えてるわけないんだよね。首にはガラス玉もタグも下げてないか。何をジロジロ見てやがるですよ。口の方は悪いまま。
This is probably her normal self. Even so, considering she still looked like a child.
失礼ですけど、袖をまくってもらっていいですか？は？なんですよ、いきなり。未成年だからといって何を言っても無罪放免と思ったら大きなミステイクですよ。
Mm-hmm. Saying that, she flipped up her cute sleeves. Wait, there's a seal there.
あのシールじゃない。これは一体何のシールだろう？研究者シールですよ。素粒子物理学のね。
Why does she still look like a child then? Kokoro's future had changed. After repeating time over and over, only hers had changed.
ということは、もしかしてもともとロリロリ？
Kokoro said that she'd probably picked out for child prostitution because of her youthful appearance.
なんですよ。ホーリーファックに失礼ですよ。悪いですよ。27にもなってこんなチンチクリンのすってんてんは女とは呼べないとか言うですよ。
Oh, she's a pistol.
なんだ。フェミニンな団体職員に訴えまくりまくりまくりですよ。いや、ごめんなさい。ほんとごめんなさい。失礼を浴びさせてください。まったく。名乗りもせずに失礼極まりないガキですよ。これはまた失礼しました。私はマリス川アルエと言います。今日からこのマンションに引っ越してきました。漫画家を夢見る一風変わった中卒です。夢見るって。せいぜい頑張るがいいですよ。
Yes.
心は心ですよ。はい、よろしくお願いします。心ちゃん。ちゃん？ホーリーホーリーホーリーシットですよ。
Oh, that's great English vernacular swearing. Oh, yeah. Room 1401, in front of the door.
や、あるよ。
Yay!
遅かったです。また寄り道でも？いえ、大したことじゃないです。さあ、行きましょうか。決着つけに。
In front of the salt dispenser. The three of them had assembled. They all looked back on their series of extraordinary experiences and reflected. A lot of things had happened. A whole array of things, in fact. The girls felt like they actually had one heck of a tough time getting this far.
なんか すごいふわっとしか思い出せない。さすが中卒です。
They looked at each other and giggled.
あんなにいろいろあったのにね。確かにレベルも上がっているのだけど、それが私たちですから。さて
She called Apollo with a red button. As she did, she realized there was a blue button next to the red one.
なんだろこれ。
Push. The image popped up on the screen. Technical difficulties.
入浴中。なんで洞察ボタンが。
Why is there a peeping button?
おそらく社の者の趣味かと。かわいそうだから早く赤ボタン押してあげよう。
And so they did.
マッパで出現。
Oh no. She threw a bucket at them, or a rubber ducky, and finally some old hard objects. Oh no. After a bit of turmoil.
はい。それじゃあ課題の説明するっすよ。
She looks so happy, but she sounds so pissed. She was upset.
いいっすか。まずこのソウルディスペンサーの機能として。
The girls already knew, but they didn't want to upset Hollow any further and chose to listen patiently.
まあ中卒のお嬢様方には難しいでしょうっすけど、頑張ってみてくださいっす。大事なのはシンクロを。皆さん答えは決まりましたか。うん、多分みんなと一緒。
I can't wait to hear their answer.
あららにとってのマイプレジャーが。今の説明聞いてたっすか。この課題すっごく難しいんすよ。出会って初日のお嬢様方にはとても。
It's okay, they've been friends for months now.
さあ行きましょう。
They pushed the proposition button.
素晴らしい人生とは。
Yes?
せーの。
It's not gonna say it? I think it's, fetch, that's awesome. I think it's, where you get to live to pursue a dream. Because that's really what the answer was, ultimately, to the whole thing. Fetch, I didn't realize it was gonna be the finale episode. It's so good. Yeah. So I think the answer was, because that's kind of what the ending was really all about. So it's about, like, the key to a wonderful life is giving your all for your dream. You know, like, having something that you truly love and are passionate about and just giving it your best. Even if things don't just work out swimmingly, you just fight for it. And it's kind of a double-edged sword because, you know, like, it's a good, like, even being a manga artist today, that's a hard job to try and get, and you're going to be fighting a lot of resistance, but, you know, it's always good to at least try, right? Hey, and that's almost like a perfect summary of this channel, right? Like, am I ever going to be a big YouTuber? Probably not. But I'm going to fight for it, I'm going to try, and it makes me so happy just doing these videos. Oh man, Fetch, what a good game! What a cool ending, too. Man. This was quite a trip. I liked pretty much every little thing about this game. It was weird at first, I remember. But man, they get some hard-hitting, like, moments up till this point.
Boston. またチラシがいっぱい入ってた。
Interesting. Oh, they're still living there? Oh, I don't think I'm in control.
ケーキ屋さん、電気屋さん。あ、駅前にアイス屋さんができたんだ。
I don't think I'm in control of this. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be.
今度、アルエたちと一緒に行こう。
Yeah, okay, I'm in control of this part. Yay. So happy. So does it get to live in this apartment from now on? Maybe that'd be cool. What if they got seals because of that?
この封筒、見たことない言葉。
What is it?
エアメールっていうやつだ。
Okay. Oh, the suspense is killing me.
外国から送られてきたんだ。
Abroad, huh? What is it? Come on, Kokoro, go! I need to know!
これ教官からの手紙だ。
Ah, cool! What is he gonna say? Are they gonna do like little prologues? Or good grief, how much longer is there gonna be of these credits? But man, look at all that. Look at all these names. Special thanks to all these people. Does that mean that they were like backers, maybe? Like, I don't know if this was a project that was originally kickstarted or anything. You know, I'm starting to have more prosperity in my life. I think I'm gonna start trying to back projects. You know, like finding people who are making visual novels and give them some support. I want to be there. I want to make more visual novels. I want there to be something greater on the horizon. Thank you, Studio Beast. Bravo, bravo. Let me know if you have anything else you'd like me to check out. To be continued the next Chuusotsu episode. Oh yeah. Well, Fetch, send me the sequel. That's freaking awesome. And this is what plays at the beginning. Plus, never upload the game illegally or you'll spend 100 million years buying parts. I wish. Oh man. So this is first graduation, so there should be a second graduation. So I'm going to do some research, but hey, out of curiosity, Fruit Bat Factory, and you guys out there listening to this video, do you happen to know about any potential second game, and if it's being translated by you guys or not, please let me know. It'd be easier to find out from you, but otherwise, I'm going to keep looking for it myself. But Fetch, this was a good trip, man. This was really fun. So, alright. What do I rate this? I don't do numbers, obviously, but I think the biggest selling point for this visual novel is the fact that it got me to think things through a lot more intensely than I really would have realized. It also approached life, livelihoods and life challenges that I'm not super familiar with. I've had my challenges and I've had my troubles with motivation and setbacks, but I've never really been to that point. I got kind of close. I had to live off of welfare for a few months, but that was a very special circumstance, and we were able to get out of it really quickly. But beyond that, it's also like about personal motivation and like society's expectations versus your own desires. And it was a lot of food for thought, and that's what visual novels are the best for. So I think it did a really good job. Catch my attention and held on to it. I really got going in the middle. Pretty much from the beach episode on, I was super hooked. Getting to the beach was a little rocky at some times, but like once it kind of sunk its teeth in, it really got me going. And that ending was freaking crazy, but very gratifying. So yeah, overall fantastic game. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you Fruit Bat Factory for connecting me to this series. Again, they were supporting me and the channel by giving me a free copy to look at. So please shout out to them. Thank you guys so much. You've been so supportive of this channel despite my tiny size. And I'm grateful to have the chance to work with you. Studio Beast, thank you. I don't know if you'll be able to understand this per se. Maybe, hopefully somebody can at the very least translate. I wish I could translate for you guys, but I guess arigato or anything else I can think of. I don't know. I feel like it might be like because I don't know much Japanese. Like the little I use, I feel like I use it very improperly. But thank you for making something like this. I'm excited to see future titles from you guys, and I wish you the best of luck and success. And I ultimately thank you for being one of the watchers here. Like. You saw the word finale, you clicked on this video, and I'm glad you did. So thank you so much. These smaller titles always get smaller followings, but that's okay. Like, I've never done this because I thought I'd get armies of people. I do it because I feel passionate about it. So thank you for spending the time with me. I hope you enjoyed the ride as much as I did, and I hope it gave you some stuff to think about too. If you have final comments, leave them in the description. I do want to do a wrap up of this, so I'll probably be doing a live stream of this next Saturday. And I'll archive it, so it should pop up in the playlist. I've realized that if I don't archive it, it can be hard to find those, and so I'm going to start archiving them in all the playlists. So if you missed the live broadcast for whatever reason, or if this is just past that, like, don't worry, it's in the playlist. If you continue playing on, you'll be able to see my afterthoughts and my summaries from this. But yeah, it's been a fun trip. So thank you guys so much, and appreciate it. And until the next video you watch with me, whatever see me next, I'll see you there.